Warrenton Borough Council, Primary Education in-year transfer admissions, information board for parents. In-year transfer applications. In-year transfer applications are those requesting a transfer from one school to another outside of the normal admission run. For example, when a family moves house partway through the school year, this booklet sets out the in-year application process and is also intended to give information and advice to parents or carers who wish to explore the possibility of transferring their child from one school to another partway through the school year. Generally, a child will be admitted to another school if there is a place available, with the exception of those children whose circumstance meets the requirements of the Fair Access Protocol. For more information about the Fair Access Protocol, 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 protocol,
protocol,
protocol, protocol, protocol, protocol, protocol. For more information about the Fair Access Protocol, please refer to Section 5. If your request for an in-year transfer is lost because of an address change or relocation from overseas, you are strongly advised to think very carefully before you apply. Problems that your child may be experiencing may not go away simply as a result of a change of school. Before you consider changing your child's school, it is important to discuss it with your child and find out how he or she really feels about the possibility of the school move. You need to be clear about the real reason why she or he wants to move to a different school. For example, it could be because he or she is worried about certain subjects. If this is the case, then you will need to discuss this with your child's current school to allow them the opportunity to address any concerns that you or your child may have. If you think your child needs extra help or has needs that are not being recognized, you would need to arrange to speak to the special education needs coordinator at your child's current school. If you or your child has concern about bullying or friendship issues, speak to your child's class teacher, head of year, or pastoral head. Finally, having explored these options, if you feel your concerns have not been addressed appropriately at your child's current school, you should arrange an appointment to speak with your child's head teacher. All schools have a complaints policy which will set out how parents or carers should raise schools' awareness of any concerns and what steps will be taken to help resolve them. Points to consider before making your application. There are many points to consider when deciding whether or not the school transfer for your child is the right thing to do. Some of the main points to consider are set out below. Teaching and school organization. Each school teaches and the national curriculum in different ways and at different times of the academic year. It may be the case that the part of the curriculum currently being studied at the new school was covered by your child's current school earlier on in the year. This may impact on your child's education, as he or she will be repeating work which he or she has already done. It could be that areas of the curriculum have been completed at the new school, but had not yet been covered at your child's current school. This means This means your child will completely miss out on some areas of the curriculum. You may find it useful to visit the school's website and contact the school to arrange a visit to discuss this. Friendships. Forming friendships is a very important aspect of school life. Children should feel happy and content and content at school, and relationships with friends and teachers are a key part of any child's social development and educational progression. If relationships have broken down at your child's current school, you must discuss this with your child's school before making a decision to transfer to another school. Problems that your child may be experiencing may not go away simply as a result of a change of school. Uniform. It may be necessary to buy a completely new uniform, including PE kits, for your child if you decide to transfer schools. It should be noted that the local authority is unable to provide any subsidy even for low-income families, in connection with uniform costs. Transport. The local authority is required by law to provide or pay for free transport for pupils who have to travel more than the statutory distance to their nearest suitable school. For pupils of for, pe- for pupils of for pupils of primary aged pupils, this distance is 2 miles. It is important that you do not confuse the right to express a preference for a school with an entitlement to transfer assistance. If you have expressed a preference for a school which is further away from your home and the distance to this school is more than the statutory distance, you may not be entitled to travel assistance. If this is the case, you will need to think about the costs involved with getting your child from home to school and back on time and safely, as this is your responsibility. For more information regarding home to school transport assistance, please visit the council website. Making an application. If, having considered all the points listed above, you decide to apply for a school transfer, you must complete the appropriate in-year transfer form. There are two types of in-year transfer forms, one for a primary and one for a secondary-aged child. It is also important to look that a form must be completed for each child seeking a school transfer. For example, if you have 3 children you wish to transfer, 2 of primary age and 1 of secondary school age, you must complete 2 primary year transfer forms and 1 secondary year transfer form. It is not possible to apply for a school place any further in advance than 6 school weeks. For example, if you wish to apply for a place from the beginning of the autumn term, the earliest you could apply would be the beginning of June. Application forms are available to download on the council website at Warrington Government UK Schools, or alternatively you can call into the office to collect a form, or you can telephone 01925444626 and ask for a form to be posted out to you. For more information about the schools in Warrington, please refer to the primary or secondary information for parents booklets, which are available to download on the in-year transfer page at. The in-year transfer application is made up of 7 sessions. Sessions 1 to 6 must be completed by the parent or carer. Section 7 of the form needs to be completed by your child's current school. It is important that all sections are completed before submitting, as incomplete forms will not be processed and will be returned to the parents or carer. If you are relocating to or within the Warrington area, documentary proof of the house move will be required. If you are relocating to or within the Warrington area, documentary proof of the house move will be required. Examples of acceptable proof are as below: a council tax bill, a copy of your exchange of contracts, or a copy of signed tenancy agreement at least 6 months, driving license, utility bill, lot bank statements. For the purpose of this policy, utility bills are defined as water, gas, or electric bill. Children formerly in care are defined as previously looked after children who have ceased to be so because they have been adopted or become subject to a child arrangement order or special guardianship order immediately following being looked after. If your child is a child formerly in care, then you must provide a copy of the adoption certificate, child arrangement order, or special guardianship order at the time of application for your child to be considered under this criterion. Parental responsibility. Applications must be completed by a person who has parental responsibility for the child. It is advised that the applicant should inform all other parties who have parental responsibility before submitting the application. If all parties are not in agreement with the child moving schools, any disputes should be resolved before submitting an application. If parents are unable to reach an amicable agreement, then both parents should seek recourse through the family courts. Where a child lives with parents with shared responsibility, the address given on the form should be the address of the parent who is in receipt of child benefits and/or child tax credit. Proofs may be required. Children of UK service personnel. Place can be allocated in advance for children of UK service personnel with a confirmed posting in the area, or crowd servants returning from overseas to live in the area. If this applies to your child, please tell us on your application. You must also provide evidence, for example, an official letter from your commanding officer containing a relocation date and yearly postal address. Application process. The fully completed form must be returned to the local authority school admissions team. The fully completed form must be returned to the local authority school admissions team. Completed forms may be scanned by the parent or carer and emailed to the below link. Please be aware that photographs of application forms are not acceptable and will be returned. Alternatively, you can post or hand deliver the complete application form to the below address. Any queries, please contact the school admission team by emailing the below link or telephoning the below phone. If you have submitted the form via email, an email acknowledgement will automatically be generated to the sender's email address upon safe delivery to the school admissions mailbox. If an acknowledgement is not received by the sender, there is no guarantee that it has been received by the school admissions team. The school admissions teams aim to reply to all in-year transfer applications within 10 school days of receiving a complete application form. However, in certain circumstances, some applications may take longer to process. Please be aware that applications cannot be processed during school holiday periods. In certain cases, it may be necessary to consider an application in accordance with the Fair Access Protocol, which may result in the process taking longer than 10 school days. Fair Access Protocol. Each local authority must have a fair access protocol agreed with schools in its area, including academies and free schools, to ensure that unplaced children, especially the most vulnerable, are offered a place at a suitable school as quickly as possible. The school admissions team assess all applications to identify those which meet the requirements of the Fair Access Protocol. The criteria for primary-aged children are as follows: A. Children from the criminal justice system or pupil referral unit who need to be reintegrated into mainstream school. B. Children who have been out of the UK education system for 2 months or more. C. Children of GAPSEs, Roma travelers, refugees, and asylum seekers. D. Children who are homeless. E. Children with unsupported family backgrounds for whom a place has not been sought. F. Children who are carers. G. Children with SEN disabilities or medical conditions, but without an education, health, and care plan. H. Key Stage 1 children whose attendance is less than 85%. I. Key Stage 2 children whose attendance is less than 90%. J. Children who have accessed support from New Horizons. K. Children who have required behavior support. L. Children who have a period of exclusion during the last 12 months to date. Children who have been permanently excluded. And children who have required support from outside agencies. O. Number of school moves during the last academic year. Children who have been permanently excluded are placed at schools in accordance with a rotation system. This is a separate process which is administered by the LA through a process which has been agreed between the LA and schools. In addition to the above criteria for both primary and secondary schools, the local authority will have regard for pupils who have not been on the roll of a mainstream school for more than 4 weeks. Once applications meeting the fair access criteria have been identified, an admissions officer will assess each application, taking the following factors into account: the preferences expressed by the applicants, the home to school walking distance from the applicant's home to the preferred schools, The total number of fair access admissions already placed or to be considered for each of the preferred schools. All other schools within a reasonable distance to the applicant's home address, where reasonable distance is defined as a home to school walking distance of 2 miles. The total number of fair access admissions for each of the schools within a reasonable distance. The outcome of this assignment will determine how the local authority will share out these applications between all suitable schools. The local authority must ensure that no school, including those with place available, is asked to take a disproportionate number of children who meet any of the fair access criteria. There is no requirement to comply with parental preference when placing children in accordance with the fair access protocol. However, if an applicant is refused any of their preferred schools, they must be informed of their statutory right of appeal against the decisions lost to offer a place at the school of their preference. For more information about Warren Transfer Access Protocol and to access a copy of it, please visit the Council website or telephone and request a copy. Allocating praise for applications which do not meet the requirements or the Fair Access Protocol. Applicants are invited to express preferences for up to 3 schools. Each of the schools listed on the form is treated as a separate application. The admissions team will look to see whether there are placed at any of the preferred schools. If a free school or an academy has been listed as a preferences, the admissions team will check if there is a place available in the required year group and contact the school to find out whether a place can be offered. Places are offered for in-year applications on a first-come, first-served basis. If there is one place available at a school and more than one child has applied on the same day, the school's oversubscription criteria will be applied to determine which child has the highest priority and should be offered the place. If only one of the preferred schools has a place to offer in the required year group, then that place will be offered to the applicants for their child. If more than one of the preferred schools could offer a place will be offered at whichever of those schools is the highest preference. If all of the preferred schools are full and the applicants does not currently have a school place due to relocating to the area, the proof of the new address has been received. The local authority will offer a place at the nearest school which is within a reasonable distance to the home address that has a place available. This may not be the closest school to the applicant's home, as many Warrington schools are already full in many year groups, and admission authorities are unable to hold places reserved for children who may move into an area after the usual point of entry. If all of the preferred schools are full and the child is a Warrington resident and already has a place at a school that he or she is able to attend, an alternative school place will not be offered. If no school within a reasonable distance has a place available, it may be necessary to admit over the published admission number at the school, which is within a reasonable distance. Admitting over the published Admission number will only be considered where the following exceptional circumstances apply. A. Children admitted outside the normal admissions run with an education, health, and care plan specifying a school. B. Looked after children and previously looked after children admitted outside the normal admissions run. C. Children admitted after initial allocation of place because of a procedural error made by the admissions authority or local authority in the original application process. D. Children admitted after an independent appeals panel upholds an appeal. E. Children who move into the area outside the normal admissions run for whom there is no other available school within reasonable distance. F. Children of UK service personnel admitted outside the normal admissions round. G. Children whose trained or sibling from a multiple birth is admitted otherwise than as an accepted pupil. H. Children with special educational needs who are normally taught in a special educational needs unit attached to the school or registered as a special school who attend some class within the mainstream school. Who, considering which school should admit exceptionally above the published admission number, the local authority may consult the head teacher at the school to decide whether or not on balance the prejudice caused to the child by not admitting them to a particular school outright. The prejudice caused to the school by admitting the child, the authority would make every effort to share such requests between schools which are local to the applicant's address. When it is reasonable to do so, therefore, if all schools within a reasonable distance are full, the local authority will not automatically admit exceptionally to the preferred school. It should be noted that exceptional circumstances do not apply in the event of a family relocating to the area to live with other family members who are unable to provide proof of address. In cases such as this, if no place available, a school within a reasonable distance, the application will be refused and the right of appeal will be offered. It should be noted that the exceptional circumstances do not apply in the event of a family relocating to the area to live with other family members who are unable to provide proof of address. In cases such as this, if no place are available at a school within a reasonable distance, the application will be refused and the right of appeal will be offered. A list of alternative schools will be provided upon request. However, the home-to-school walking distance for these schools will be more than the reasonable distance defined by the local authority. Infant class size legislation. Infant classes are those where the majority of children will reach the age of 5, 6, or 7 during the school year, for example, reception and year 1 and 2. Infant classes must not contain more than 30 pupils with a single school teacher. However, additional children may be admitted under limited exceptional circumstances as set out above. If a child's circumstance meets any of the exceptions listed in para 6.5 A to H, then the child may be admitted to an already full or oversubscribed reception year 1 or 2 class as an accepted pupil. This means that This means that the child can be added to a class of 30 in this year groups without the requirements to take qualifying measures, for example, appointment of an additional teacher. Notification. You will receive written notification of the outcome of your application. The outcome is normally sent via email. However, if you prefer to receive your outcome via post, please let us know. If you are offered a place, you will be asked to contact the school allocated to make arrangements for admission. All offers are available for 6 school weeks only. If a child has not started by the date given in the offer letter, then the offer of a place will be withdrawn. 6 school weeks. Six school weeks. If the application is due to a relocation to the Orange area and the parents or carer were not able to provide the necessary proof of address before the application was processed, then a conditional offer will be made. If the application is due to a relocation to the Orange area and the parents or carer were not able to provide the necessary proof of address before the application was processed, then a conditional offer will be made. The offer made will be upon condition that the proof of the new address is received within 6 school weeks. If parents are unable to provide proof within the required time scale, the offer of a place will be withdrawn. Appeals procedure for in-year admissions. If it has been necessary to refuse any of the preferred schools, the applicant has the statutory right of appeal against the decision not to offer a place as the preferred schools. If an applicant decides to appeal, the appeal must be made in writing, stating the child's details and giving the reasons for appealing. Appeal submissions should be sent to the below link, or alternatively, you can post them to the below address. Appeals are considered by an independent school appeals panel, and their decision is binding on the admission authority, the parent or carer, and the school. The clerk to the independent school appeals panel will arrange a date and time for the appeal hearing and will write the rest to the applicant with details. Appeals can take up to 30 school days to arrange. Applicants will be notified by the clerk to the independent school appeals panel in writing of the outcome of the appeal within 5 school days of the hearing. If an appeal is successful, parents or carers will be asked to contact the school to make arrangements for admission. If an appeal isn't successful, the parent or carer is unable to appeal again in the same academic year for the same school unless there has been a material change of circumstance that the panel was not aware of at the hearing. A further application will be required. For more information about the appeals procedure, please visit this a further in-year transfer application will be required. For more information about the appeals procedure, please visit the below link. Summary of in-year admissions process. The key points to remember are set out below. Before submitting an in-year application, make sure you speak to your child's current school about your reasons for requesting a school move. Discuss the option of a school move with your child. If your child is asking to move school, try to find out the reasons why and discuss this with your child's current school to see if there are any issues which can be addressed by them. Stop and think about how a school move could impact on your child's education and social well-being. If you decide to go ahead and explore the possibility of an in-year transfer request, please ensure you visit your preferred schools before making an application. Please ensure that all sections of your application form are completed before submitting, as incomplete forms cannot be processed. All fully completed application forms will be acknowledged and will normally be processed within 10 school days of receipt. However, some applications may take longer to process. If you will be locating into or within Warrington, documentary proof of the house move will be required. Examples of acceptable proof are as follows: copy of the exchange of contract, or copy of the signed tenants agreement at least 6 months, council tax bill, driving license, utility bill, not bank statements. For the purpose of this policy, utility bills are defined as water, gas, or electric bills.